when it comes to investing into the stock market, what is the difference between going long and going short? This is the topic of today's video. Hello and welcome. My name is Peter B. and I welcome you here at My First Million, where we are achieving our financial goals together. So when investing into the stock market, there are basically two activities that you can take into consideration. You could either go long or you can go short. So if you're a beginner, you want to understand the difference between the two. And especially if you're a beginner, maybe you want to start with only going long first. And big disclaimer here, I also hardly ever went short on any kind of position. I'm usually only having long positions in my portfolio. So, but what is the difference between going long and going short, or long positions and short positions? So you can see the definition here. It's related to whether you want to buy or sell stocks. So going long means you're opening a long position, or in other words, you make a market investment which would profit from an increase in the value of the asset. And in contrast, going short is just the opposite. Opening a short position, you will make an investment which would profit from a decrease of the value of the investment. So to visualize this a little bit better, let's take a look at a stock market chart. So here's the chart of the S&P 500. This is year to date so far, at least until the time when I recorded the video. And you see it's green, so this year so far looks good, so good. So we are here now at this red cycle, at this point, at the end of the chart. So now the question for you as an investor comes, what do you believe will the market do next? If you believe that the market is going up, you will consider going long. If you believe the market is going down, then you will consider going short. So most investors, like myself, usually consider long positions, but there are sometimes some reasons why you want to consider a short position. And the two main reasons are here. Of course, the most obvious one is if you believe the market is dropping, you want to profit from the downward cycle. So this is the main reason why people go short. But also sometimes, especially like more sophisticated investors, are going short with one position in order to hedge a long position. Hedging is kind of an insurance with financial positions. So maybe you have a huge investment and hope that the investment is going up. So you have a huge long position, but you're afraid that it's also a probability. There's a possibility there that the market instead is going down. So what you can be doing is you could open a hedge position with going short. So if the market is falling, your losses on your long position will be at least partially recovered by your short position. But hedging is probably not something that a usual, regular, small private investor is taking into consideration. So for me, especially for me, but I think in general, there are some reasons why you never want to go short. If you're going short, if you're short selling a stock first, then the maximum that you can profit with short selling a stock is 100%. However, the maximum that you can lose could be, at least in theory, unlimited. So a short position often has a disadvantage in the arbitrage, how much you can win and how much you can lose, which is exactly the opposite than what you have with a long position. A long position, at most you can lose 100%, basically everything, but at the best, your wins can be limitless. It can go to the sky or even to the moon. But then also, especially if you are considering yourself being an investor, I would always advocate of being a long-term investor. And if you see, on the short term, maybe sometimes markets are dropping. But on the long term, markets are always increasing. But there's of course a difference there between a market and an individual stock. Maybe the market overall always will be increasing, but maybe an individual stock maybe also could go bankrupt and therefore maybe never increase again. But again, overall, over a long period of time, and I believe this is the S&P 500 for 40 years or so, you can see here, during a long period of time, there has been some dips where you would have made some profits with short positions. But the overall trend is up and to the right. So with a short position, you are basically betting against the long-term trend of the market. And as said, maybe on an individual stock level, this might look a little bit different. So, before we sum this up, there's one way maybe you can easily remember whether or not we are talking about a short position or a long position. Especially for beginners, this might be a bit difficult to remember. But basically you can imagine yourself, there is a short way down. At worst, it can only go to zero. It cannot go below zero. But in contrast, there's a very long way up. At best, it even can go to infinity. So short way down, long way up. Short, you want to profit from the way down. Long, you want to profit from the way up. I hope now you understand the difference between a long and a short position. And if you are a long-term investor, I would recommend to especially consider long positions in your portfolio. However, if you want to learn more also about short positions, this video is the first video of a mini-series that I'm making for short positioning. So if you want to learn more about shorting stocks or even how to short stocks, stay tuned, subscribe, and look out for the next video. Thanks a lot for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and especially I look forward to seeing you winning financially.